Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space. I hope you enjoy. A brief report on human ghosts, written by Going Over That Cliff. We, the Scythons, have a deep secret. We are psychic. At least, some of us are. It's a secret so well kept, not even our population knows it. With only the top 1% being aware that some are born with special abilities. Even fewer people know what these are and how we use them for our interests. Maybe psychic is not the correct term for what we can do, but it's the best translation to Galactic Standard I managed to find. We can see and interact with so-called ghosts and spirits of the past, depending on the user's affinity with his or her power. We can ask for or force them to reveal information, or do us some favors. These spirits are different from that many imagine them to be. Their strength and personality are not innate to them. They are sourced elsewhere. They come from the people. It's common imagination that grants them powers. The ghosts' minds and forms depend on how they are remembered and what the living ones think of them. It does not matter if the people actually know that they are real and that their essence is defined by how they are perceived. The spirit of a terrible dictator would not only look ugly and decrepit, but interacting with him would reveal an equally awful personality. On the other hand, someone remembered for being good would look clean and be lovely to have conversation with. Even if they cannot be seen or interacted with by non-psychics, these specters still haunt the places they are associated with, or where they have unresolved business. All this is to say, recently we initiated interstellar relations with a species known as humans, and, let me tell you, their ghosts are something else. They were introduced to the galactic community some years ago, but we wanted to leave them be for some time before setting up proper delegations. Given the number of member species in the GC, we didn't want to overwhelm them with those first crucial years. That, of course, did not stop us from at least meeting each other. We just reassured them that, as soon as the political storm calmed down, we would have a nice, proper talk. Back then, when our species shook appendices for the first time, my junior warned me that he sensed something strange from those humans, insisting that the aura around them was very peculiar. Originally, I dismissed his concern, thinking his inexperience was talking instead of his brain, so I dispatched a better-trained Esper to take a good look at them. Once he came back, he said the same thing, that there was something strange about their aura, and he could not understand exactly what it was. I asked if he saw any spirits, but he replied that he met with humans outside their space sector, so it would have been very unlikely to find a human ghost there. Resigned, I acknowledged the fact that humans are indeed weird, and that further research must be carried out. Secretly, of course. Years went by, and soon enough I found myself at the edge of their territory. I met with the human ambassador to set up an embassy in their home world. Of course, before that, they invited me on a classic and boring tour of some of their worlds to show me utter mediocrity of their planets. I wasn't really paying attention to their words or worlds while visiting the first two star systems. I was on the lookout for paranormal activity. I didn't actually see any personally because of the nature of my guided tour, but I didn't really need to. I could easily feel those ghosts being mostly human past relatives and the occasional human pets. But I was genuinely surprised at how positive the aura surrounding them was. I expected more negative and aggressive spirits, given the reputation Terrans carry with them. Still, my colleagues were right. Those humans and their specters indeed have something odd about them. They surely are manifestations of dead beings, but it felt as if they didn't really ever leave their life behind, as if they were not really dead. I can't really explain this to someone who is not a psychic, but it is as if they are hearing something you can't make out whether it is close or from far. You just know that it can't be both. On our way to the last planet on the tour, I was informed that the next stop would be Alpha Centauri. Apparently, it was of great significance to the humans, having been one of the first colonies outside their home system. I was strangely excited to see what kind of ghosts I would finally find there. As soon as we exited hyperspace, I felt almost overwhelmed by the aura of this star system. I was sure a very strong spirit was somewhere nearby, but that was strange. One would expect ghosts to be on or near a planet, certainly not there, just outside the system's electromagnetic sphere. I was then hit by a strong mental attack, but that as well was not normal. It was not like any other psychic phenomenon that I've ever experienced, both in training and in the field. I felt the intentions of the spirit. It was examining, inspecting, judging me. I communicated my peaceful intentions, and as soon as it started, the interaction ended. Quickly, as I recovered my mental state, I rushed to the observation deck and looked out to the black void. There, I saw it. A pristine, shining and clean starship was sailing through space just beside our vessel. It was clearly an old ship, recognizable by the outdated design and crude construction, with limited armament and visibly rudimentary sensor array. I could see the ship, but the others next to me could not. The whole ship was a spectre, but certainly not an evil one. Just by looking at her, I was embraced by a comfortable and warm feeling that I can't really describe. Next to her, I felt calm. I felt safe. I tried to examine the craft without attracting too much attention for staring at something that wasn't there for anyone else but me. Analyzing the mysterious starship, I noticed some words written in old human characters on the side. Sneakily, I used my translator to understand what those words meant. UNSS Indefatigable. I was still lost on my thoughts when the human ambassador asked me if I was feeling well. Noticing how I was looking at the distant stars, I asked him about the strange ship, hopefully without sounding too suspicious, by saying that I heard it from another human. Unsurprisingly, the diplomat was quite surprised, but not displeased. He asked his subordinate for a smart tablet and showed me the bright screen. I took a look at the lengthy list of names and saw the UNSS Indefatigable grayed out amongst hundreds of others. Not only was the color and font different compared to the rest, but it was also the only one with the UNSS prefix, probably a relic of past times. I asked for clarification. This is a list of military ships currently operating in Alpha Centauri star system. I was very confused. How could a ghost ship be in active service? Do humans know the spirits as well? No, that could not be possible. We checked several times and none of them showed any noteworthy proficiency in psychic abilities. Why is that name different? The human smiled. I felt strong increase in spiritual energy around us, as all the humans who heard my words showed the same facial expression. Well, that would be the good old UNSS Indefatigable. We haven't seen her in a while, but that old lady never failed us on her mission. I just was speechless. I tried to make sense of what they were saying. When was the last time you saw her? I noticed the smile on the human's face shifting from joyfulness to sorrow. Over 300 years ago. The mood in the room changed, and I felt the room getting colder. She was the flagship of the Alpha Centauri flotilla, back when we were just setting up primitive colonies here. She and her crew distinguished themselves in supply operations, and by destroying 2 potentially devastating asteroids heading for the populated planets. Then, after years of exemplary service, her mission profile was suddenly changed after a catastrophic explosion on her main reactor. I stood there in silence. I looked back at the proud ghost that was escorting us to our destination, through the cold emptiness of space. So, she was lost in space, I sadly murmured. The human gave me one last prideful smile. Lost? No, she is not lost. I'm sure she's still somewhere out there, ever loyal to her duty, ever loyal to her people. She is simply on an eternal patrol. End of story. I'd quickly like to thank all the T5 channel members and patrons. Cam Maxwell, Casper Arnholtz, Lord Azrakal, Holly's Sister, Dragzoon WRE, and Ambrose Catel. Thank you very much.